Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Instructions Unclear, a TDS podcast. Today with us, we have the Notorious DLC,
Oh, hi, everyone.
CosplayDiver,
What up?
Admiral Flapjack,
Hello.
and Woo Plays.
What's up, Woo Believers?
Today we will be discussing a few different things, a few different topics from all over the place. Yeah, let's just jump right in, guys. The first topic that we have on hand was from Mr. Wookins. He wanted to talk about how we all got into gaming, how we all got started, like what were our motivations and things along that lines. Woo, do you want to take point on this since it's your topic, sir?
Absolutely. I mean, it's obvious that we're all here. We're all doing streams because we're passionate about video games. I wanted to hear everybody's opinion on what got you into video games in the first place. Like, how far back console did you have? Mine started off with watching my brothers and sisters play the Atari, oh gosh, I forget which 100 is it. Is it like a 1600, 2100? Either way, Atari. So I was just wanting everybody's opinion on that.
All right, who wants to join in first?
I think before we go too much farther, I just wanted to confirm: are we actually live? I don't see the channel running.
Yeah, I don't think we're live.
I'm seeing us as streaming right now.
Let me refresh.
Let me refresh.
I just refreshed. It still
I'm
shows offline.
I'm on TDS Gaming TV, and I can't see anything.
I think everyone's
Are
having the
we
exact
live
same
on
thought
TDS
I was.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
like,
all
or
offline.
on your channel.
Oh, yeah, but that was the second thing I checked. I said, "Are we on Tal's channel on accident?"
No. I'm underneath a completely separate profile right now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
I'm seeing
We are
the
not
stop
live.
streaming button. Hold on. Go to the profile.
on YouTube. Watch.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming straight to YouTube.
Now take
YouTube
the
gaming.
Chatterbait
guys,
stream key out. Take the Chatterbait stream key out.
browsers.com.
Difference is the difference.
Please, guys, I have a completely different
roulette.
rig set up for that. And different cameras. Guys, I'm showing us streaming right now. We are live and direct. Well, we are
I don't-
live with a
Well,
15-second
the chat
delay.
isn't showing anything either. So.
I don't
Yeah.
buy
Yeah,
it.
we'll
don't know.
see. I know. I call shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to get a second opinion because I.
Oh wait, there we go.
This is cake.
Yeah, now it just twitched over. What the?
Yeah, it just came
I
up.
think there's a really long delay.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Instructions unclear. Hey.
Very unclear.
I mean,
We can
yeah,
bring
it
it
just
I
came
through.
up.
think
Here we
there's a
go.
really long-
Take
Okay,
two.
so guys, we're going to sit here for 30 seconds and wait for the stream to actually catch up with us.
Why is my footage the only one that's all garbage?
Well, that's what we were telling you before, sir. It's like your camera
know.
keeps doing that autofocus thing.
No, it's not even that. It's like jittery.
Yeah, your camera
Time
is
Warner.
choppy as hell, man.
Yep, your camera is jumping.
You got time warnered.
God,
That's a verb.
You're a verb.
Oh.
Hey, it looks better now.
It does.
does it?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, could have just been a bad initialization.
You're
So,
a bad initialization.
The question?
Oh yeah, it does. It actually does look better. Okay.
Okay,
cool.
the question is,
and now you're
what
back
got
to
you
jumping.
into
Never
gaming?
mind.
What the?
Yes.
Like, what made you get into gaming? What was your first game? What's the history behind it?
Well, I'll go first. My first gaming rig was an IBM PS1, running OS2. My first game was actually, this is gonna be funny. My first game was Commander Keen, the original one. And shortly thereafter, my mom decided that she didn't like the idea of like aliens and stuff because I was really super young. I was probably like 6 or something like that. And so that game went away after not too long, but it was replaced by the Learning Company's Super Solvers game. And actually, games, there were a lot of them. But I have been pretty much a PC gamer since the start. Since I was a very small child, I have not owned a console until I was into college.
Hey, Flapjack, if you ever want any tips or tricks about getting the super solvers to work, I used to work for the Learning Company.
No way.
Yes. I
I
used to do
actually
tech support for their game department and their learning department.
I
Oh,
actually
wow.
I have all my before we actually it wasn't not but about probably 8 years ago that we finally got rid of the original copies. But before we did, I borrowed a USB Dell floppy drive and I made copies of all the discs. So I still have all my games, and I keep a copy of DOSBox loaded up. So if I ever get lonely and want to play some nostalgic games, I can load up all those Super Solvers games again.
All right, Diver, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. My first gaming rig was the Famicom. I was in Asia. I guess it's called the NES here, or the SNES. I'm not sure which one. But my first was Mario, and me and my brother were twins. Um, we're just competing about who can finish it first and all that. Um, Competition basically is what got me started in gaming.
All right, DLC, what about you, sir?
Oh wow. My first console. Well, my first was the NES. My mom bought it for me, and then promptly took it away from me because I wouldn't stop playing it. But it was Super Mario and Super Mario Duck Hunt cartridge, to be exact. I don't know what that was all about. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing, and I wanted to play it all the time. And like I said, she took it away from me. But I've had a really weird string of console purchases, and yeah, that's where it started. Everybody's
We're-
talking shit about me right
we're
now. I
all
don't
fasc-
know.
We're all fascinated by
I don't
by-
understand.
Everyone's
fine
fascinated
on
by
my
the way
end?
that everybody else is moving all perfectly, but yet DLC is just chop, chop, choppy.
I have really good. It's really good on my side. It's perfect on my side.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at if I can screenshot one of these DLC and caption it some way.
It's perfect. It's perfect on my side.
Is everybody else choppy on your side?
No.
You want to know what? It almost I'm just noticing this. It looks like DLC's camera might be set to a super high quality.
It isn't. I turned it down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave the room and come back. Will that mess everything up?
Yes.
That'll screw everything
Probably,
up.
Yes.
but go ahead anyway.
Crap.
Everybody will actually get to see me for a moment.
I'm gonna ruin everything. Here we go.
Bye.
Bob Ross ruined.
Cool, I'm only gonna be out for a second.
You actually just turned off your camera. You did.
Oh.
Hey,
now
but
you're
you're
back.
streaming again.
Hey, it's better.
That's Floyd now. Nice.
Yeah, but wait for it to chop up again
Yeah,
in a
I
moment.
can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All right. Well, the next thing that we've got
Yeah,
on the
there it
list to talk about is something that I put on the list because I kept finding more and more awesome things from the CES, the Consumer Electronics Show that just happened last week. It's the new AMD architecture that was announced at CES. We are going to an AM4 socket set, which will allow for DDR4 RAM and USB-C support. Now,
Ooh,
if
USB-C.
if no one has any idea about USB-C, that is the ultra-fast USB, the new age USB that is going to just completely blow all other USBs out of the water.
So it's a lot faster than 3.0, right?
It is a lot faster than 3.0.
It's also reversible. Doesn't matter which way you plug it in, as long as you plug it in the hole. You literally cannot screw up the USB anymore. They've taken that part away.
That is
because
going
of
to
how
blow
stupid we
so
all
many
are.
people's minds.
They're like, no, it's fine. There's only one way to do it. Well, in the dark, when you're reaching behind your computer to try to plug something in, you will do it wrong twice. You'll flip it around, and it'll still be wrong. So it's going to be really nice to have a reversible one.
So, guys, what's your opinion on this? I mean, AMD's coming out with a new chipset, and it's going to basically just revolutionize, well, anybody that uses an AMD processor.
This is computer parts talk, so this is going to be the situation where I'm going to imitate like Admiral Flapjack and just be like,
Yeah, but Flapjack knows everything about everything.
Anyway, yeah. So the last time I used an Intel chipset was, I think, 5 years ago. So I'm the one using. I'm using AMD right now, and I can tell you, like, it's really good, but there's poor quality control as of like a lot of their motherboards are not up to par. So I'm actually thinking, like, I mean, I'm excited for this new chipset, but also I want to find something that, is going to constantly work for me. I mean, this is new technology, so a lot of manufacturers are going to be like experimenting with this.
I think more than anything, and again, you guys can talk about the rest of the garbage chipset stuff all you like. I want to go back to USB-C. I'm so excited. I can't. I literally can't. It's going to be twice as fast as 3.0. So you're talking an incredible decrease in lag between transferring files. They're saying it's about as fast as the original specs of Thunderbolt, which is 10 gigs per second, which is just, that's just ape shit to me. You're talking live recording, you're talking everything. It's awesome. You're talking complete HD recording to a USB device without any problem. Go ahead.
You're saying something, Diver?
Yeah, by what you guys are saying about this USB-C, it actually makes me very excited for some external capture cards to be able to utilize it.
Yeah, instead of having to go to internal, which a lot of people are doing now, especially for capture cards, the idea of having a USB-C capture card would be pretty excellent. Probably expensive to start off, if I had to imagine, but still totally worth it.
Right.
Now, of course, as everybody who uses an AMD knows, AMD gives you raw, unadulterated power, but it also can heat your house.
giggity.
Because of the new chipset, the new architecture, things along that lines, one other thing that they did notate is that nowadays, with the AM4 chipset, it will align your CPU and your APU, which is your assisted processing unit, which is something that not very many people are aware of. It will align them into one socket. So you will always have the same socket set for both of the processors that you can put on your AMD boards. But now with the heat generation, AMD has also developed a new heatsink that has metal fan blades. Those of you that are accident prone should not buy this.
Do not put your finger in the metal fan blades, please.
But this new fan blade is supposed to be ultra quiet, going at less than 32 micro decibels, which is really quiet.
So wait, if they
more
align
quiet
the CPU...
than DLC's ASMR videos.
Oh, okay. That's pretty...
What was that now? How quiet would you like it to be? Make this as quiet as you guys like. This is like a podcast staple here, me now, is just...
Yes, you got to do that weekly.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome. Instructions, Uncle.
Do it some more.
AMD fan, super quiet.
Happy little trees.
Almost as quiet as all of my whispers. To your ears, sweet nothings.
That weird.
Okay, does anybody have anything else that they would like to add on the new AM4 chipset, the new socket set?
Flapjack, you look like you have a nerdy thing to say.
I don't know too much about the AMD chipsets. If you had asked me about the Intel TikTok architecture, I would be able to comment quite a lot. I haven't studied up on AMD in a long time.
TikTok on the car, DJ put the speakers up tonight.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with
I'ma
Intel
fight
than
till
AMD
we
as
see
well.
the sunlight. TikTok. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I get into Kesha.
So wait, if they align the CPU
It just gets
and the
unreal.
APU, doesn't that like decrease the conducting surface for heating?
I'm sorry, what was that, Diver?
If they align the CPU and the APU, that
Oh,
decreases...
no. The CPU and the APU have the same socket now. So the
they
same
go in
part
one...
where you can put the chip in your motherboard. They're using the same socket now, so you basically have two sockets on your motherboard, so that you don't have to sit there and constantly get a different socket or a different APU every time you change out your motherboard. With the new AM4 chipset, everything is aligned to the same socket set, so that when you change out motherboards, you can still use the same APU and the CPU.
That's nice. Okay, great.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's move on to the next thing. I believe Flapjack entered this one. It was a topic about relaxing the rules on Twitch and on getting a group started. Flapjack,
yeah.
you want to take the reins on that one, sir?
So if people aren't aware, the only way you get to create a group on Twitch is if you're a partnered streamer. That's the current rule, I believe.
Yes.
And it's one group per partnered streamer. So obviously it's very difficult to become partnered on Twitch. You have to invest a lot of time and effort personally as a single person in order to get partnered so that you can create a group. The discussion that I was interested in having was, does anyone think that a collective appeal of multiple channels of a certain volume to create a group would be considered just like a partnered streamer would be?
You're talking about going all Captain Planet on them.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that's a tough deal, because then you could say, okay, well, we've got one person who's got 10,000 followers. They're not partnered yet, but they've got 10,000 followers. So that can skew your average if you're going to do it by an average thing. So it has to be every streamer within the group has to maintain X, Y, Z values in order to keep it going. You couldn't do just an average viewership, average number of followers, anything like that in order to do it. But at the same time, a group on Twitch the prestige is kind of self-imposed as far as I've always seen it. It's not really like, you don't have to be a part of a gaming group on Twitch at all to be a successful streamer. You don't have to be a part of that to be a partner. So it's kind of just a collection of people, which ultimately is what TDS is. True, the same thing. A collection of people who believe in the same kind of things. So really, I don't necessarily see the point in them even having the partnership requirement on Twitch. There's nothing there. And again, if there's something there that I don't know, because I don't know a whole lot about it, I mean, if there's benefits or whatever from it, I have no idea. But for me, I don't personally see there should be a requirement for partnership at all. It should just be, you want to make a group, that's fine. 5 of you get together and make a group.
Whoa, DLC, are you talking about partnership, or are you talking about building a group?
I'm talking about building a group.
Okay,
I'm just saying, I don't think partnership should be a criteria for building a group. I think if you want to build a group, Twitch should just put that architecture in place and say, hey, here you go. Here's a group. Congratulations. Because it doesn't really, it doesn't really do anything It's just a collection of people. Diver, you got a whole thing going on here.
Accident.
Pay no attention to the house behind the screen.
I just love the look on his face whenever he noticed that it was moving with him. He was like, "Wait, what? Oops." Okay, so
But
now,
yeah.
does anybody know any of the what's the word I'm looking for? The benefits of having a group.
I think that major benefit would just be being able to centralize your fan base. Honestly, um, I know that from my perspective, whenever I look at a stream and I see that they have a group, the group tends to basically kind of bring the it kind of centralize the kind of games that they do. Um, like the Chillest is one of the groups that we're familiar with on Twitch, and it's uh, a collection of I say collectively they are variety streamers. Um, uh, and there's other ones. A lot of times, the groups can be official sponsors as well. We've run across more than one streamer. We ran across a streamer the other day when we were just kind of like browsing through Twitch. We ran across a streamer who was partnered with EA. We ran across another one who was partnered with AMD.
Yeah.
Like, or sponsored with them rather. So, their rig is supplied by AMD and that sort of thing. But for our purposes, we would use it to basically promote the group and promote the collective identity of TDS. What people don't see in the background of all our individual streams is that TDS members tend to hang out a lot with each other. And when I say a lot, I mean pretty much 24/7. Like, there's there's very rarely a moment where one of us isn't online chatting on our Discord server or in the Steam group or, whatever, what have you. There's never a moment where pretty much not one member of TDS isn't awake at some point. So, basically it allows us to basically check in with one another and to stay up to date. I know that us as streamers, we spend a lot of our time associating with one another through those mediums, through Discord and stuff like that. And honestly, I know from my perspective, I welcome any one of our viewers to come and join in because we welcome that sort of interaction. And in fact, that's happened. We have people on our Discord server who aren't streamers who just come to interact, and it's actually a really good thing. We have a great time. If they're having a hard time, we can show them support. And if they want to just hang out and, laugh with us, that happens a lot too. We have a lot of everything happening on our Discord server and in our Steam group. And it creates it's just good community of good people. And being able to have a group just helps inch that image of TDS and that kind of mission statement, if you will, a little bit more forward.
Yeah, it's I'm reading this paragraph about on a website I found, just looking up the Twitch team thing. It's basically cross promotional type thing. To be in a team means that you're there to promote your fellow teammates as well as being promoted by them, mutually beneficial. That's entirely what we do in Twitch or in TDS. That's entirely what other stream groups do too. The Chillest and the Precision Gaming. I mean, all these different Steam groups, all these different Twitch teams do the exact same thing. They all do the same thing, and I'm not really sure why it became an exclusive thing on Twitch, which I think is funny because then we just decided to do basically exactly that. Except we don't have a page housed on Twitch specifically for the team.
Yeah. That's why we're the official unofficial.
Yeah.
The most official unofficial team on Twitch.
Unofficially official.
There you go.
Instructions
I've heard it both
unclear on
ways.
that. We'll get back to you on that.
Dick stuck in fan.
Yeah, Diver, that's where it came from. That's where the name of the podcast came from. Instructions unclear, dick stuck in ceiling fan.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, that makes more sense to me.
Why is there... Can somebody... Sorry, I'm going to interrupt briefly. Can somebody please remove the penis from...
I can tell you right now that no one can see that on the stream.
I know, but I
So
can.
you've just
Yeah,
pointed
it
out
is
to
a
everybody that
stretch.
somebody in here has been drawing penises in Roll20.
So instructions unclear. Basically, we're all the bunch of dicks, and Twitch is the ceiling fan.
Now, I'm not going to call out names, but if you look in Roll20, you can see the color of all the artwork, and if you look down at the names, you can actually see whose color corresponds with that.
That
Yeah,
wasn't
but
me.
no one
My
is
color
allowed
changed.
Yeah.
See, look, now I'm a different color. Don't you start with me. Damn it.
How do we
Colors.
take that off?
It's not important. It's not important. I'm just gonna scroll down. It's fine.
Let's just move on. Move on. Move on.
Next category.
Abandon.
All right.
Yeah, Twitch groups are great. Check us out, ewokshouse.com. All right.
Yeah,
Move on.
I honestly have no idea what benefits the Twitch groups do. And to be completely honest, I think that our group, the most official unofficial stream team on Twitch, Team Dysfunctional Shenanigans, is doing it right. We're doing it proper, sir.
Yeah, I can help answer the question about what you're not sure about with it. You know how we have the gaming categories, like say TDS Gaming TV playing gaming talk shows. You actually have a link that you could go to. They'll view every single member of that group, and it'll show like who all is streaming right now and stuff like that.
Kind of like what we have out at ewokshouse.com.
Yeah, like Discord.
Or like Discord, the Ewok that Manny built in Discord.
Yep.
There's an Ewok in... No.
Yes, we have an automated bot in our Discord server called Ewok. And anytime somebody goes live in Team Dysfunctional Shenanigans, it will actually post a message in Discord that says, hey, this person just went live. Here's the topic, here's their game, and here's a screenshot. Here's a link directly to their page. And then whenever they go offline, Ewok goes back and deletes that post so that no one can actually see anyone that is offline.
You're talking about a bot.
Yes.
Like, there's an Ewok in our Discord.
Yes.
Where did it come from? Somebody catch it quick.
He's actually
Exclamation
sitting
mark.
in the server and he watches all of our channels.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Now, if only we had a Jawa bot do ding ding.
If only we had a Cantina ban bot. Yeah. Anytime you go into the Discord room, it goes. And this is the segment of the podcast that Twitch will actually just cut the audio for.
You're right.
Because we're that good.
That was longer than 7 seconds.
We're that good. We're that good. We're gonna get muted.
Oh, of course.
That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and say the name of the instrument again. Jizz flute. True Star Wars facts.
That's our show, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
All right, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is actually right. That is the name of the instrument that they are playing in the cantina.
A jizz flute.
Jizz flute, yeah. Don't Google it.
Although he's probably mispronouncing it, it's supposed to be jazz flute.
Nope, it's jizz.
It's jizz.
Yeah,
I just Googled it.
Jizz whale. Hold on, here you go. There you go. Never thought you'd see that one.
DLC, we are not showing that on the stream, sir.
It's the wrong accent. It's actually years.
They've been playing they've got a jizz box? Well...
Let's move on to the next topic. Because I just remembered, we do not have the mature audience flag selected on this stream.
Oh, selfish.
Somebody messed up.
It was at this point Tal realized.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying anything inappropriate.
yet.
All from the Star Wars wiki.
Okay, so moving on
What's
to
the
the
first
next
thing that
topic.
comes to mind when you say blank willow?
Moving on to the next topic. Another thing that came out at the CES this year is that YouTube is bringing HDR support to their channels. Now, for those that don't know, HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. What it does is it takes samples of multiple different cells or shots, pictures, whatever, and then it balances the background, the color palette, basically. So now YouTube is actually bringing HDR support to all of the streams, all of the videos that are being put out on YouTube. So what's some of the reactions? Do you guys even care about that? I mean,
I don't know what it means. You explained it. I still don't.
HDR
So,
it balances the
basically
colors
it
better.
averages the lighting.
So
Everything's just gonna look real nice.
Everything is going to look a lot better. If you've got an up-to-date phone from the past 5 years, any phone from the past 5 years that's a smartphone, your phone actually has HDR support on it.
Yeah, well, if their HDR support functions as good as well as their YouTube gaming, they have my money. Not really.
Well, it's not even anything about money. They're actually bringing it to YouTube. So all the videos that are uploaded to YouTube, all of the game streams, everything like that is going to support HDR.
Cool.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, and I certainly think that developing the technology is worth it. But as streamers, and we've covered in a previous podcast, the streaming opportunities, as far as we're concerned, are far better on Twitch. We enjoy YouTube for our own average consumption, I would say, and we also like exporting past videos onto YouTube for collecting them, having a historical record of our own streams that we're interested in retaining. For those of us who don't have enough disk space to keep local copies. But other than that, I don't think any of us actually utilizes YouTube as a primary medium. We use it for viewing, pretty much. Viewing and storage, I think, are the two primary things that we end up using YouTube for. But don't take my word for it. You can read about it in this book.
It's the Necronomicon. Go ahead, read from it.
So basically
Alright,
what HDR is going to do, if you guys are seeing my webcam right now, is the darker parts down here and the lighter parts up here are going to be much more averaged. And the shadows on my arms and this really sparkly spot on my high forehead is actually going to balance out too.
I got one of those too. That's just all of this.
It's just higher.
Yours isn't shining like mine does.
My forehead stops back here.
Oh. Well, YouTube is bringing that support. Twitch, it's your move. What kind of support are you going to offer us next?
It's an interesting concept.
They're actually going to look into banning people that are reported. They're not going to do it. They're just going to look into it.
We're gonna
Wow.
look into it at least.
They're looking into it.
I'm sorry. Did I sound a little bit bitter when I said that?
We can at least give it a visual. It's no big deal.
We'll probably
Give it
just
a shot.
we'll keep bringing it up once every podcast until they actually do something about it. That way we'll have a good method of tracking how long it took.
There you go.
They'll ban us before they ban them.
Right?
Probably.
They'll ban us for constant bitching. No.
Settle for Twitch letting people stream. Yeah, I would settle for that too. Also, Time Warner, can you not? Thanks. All right, love DLC.
Yeah.
I'm still
I know
I'm
so
still
many people
so
screwed from
impressed.
Time
I'm
Warner.
still so impressed of your method of obtaining technical support was to publicly shame them on Twitter.
Yep, and I will reiterate this. If you ever want to get attention from a company, use a really high profile hashtag like Twitch and then call their ass out. You catch them on Twitter. I had a message in my box within 10 minutes, and I had a solution within 20. That I called them the hell out. I didn't have to talk to a soul, but they were like, "Hey, DM me your phone number." I said, "Sure," and they're like, "Hey, we fixed a bunch of shit."
That throttling we were doing to you, not happening anymore.
Let me remove that throttle. Oh crap, he noticed. Now he wants the he was like, just let me know if it happens, because now they want the satisfaction, like another customer served.
Look at this. We publicly care about all of our people.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. So now they're bringing it up in chat. We need to talk about this. This is what they told me to do. Okay, I was having a lot of trouble streaming, having a lot of issues. Okay, so they wanted me to unplug my router, and I was like, okay, that's fine. They were like, oh, it's got a lot of cached information on the router. I was like, oh. So I'll unplug the router. That's fine. We'll reboot the router. That usually fixes the problem anyways, but whatever. So they told me, best part, they told me to take the Ethernet cable, unplug it from my computer, and to unplug it from the router, and then to switch the ends and plug it in again. It's like, you guys, that's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
I pretended to do that part. But I did definitely unplug and replug in the router, and surprise, it worked.
I think you fail to understand how the internet works.
It's not. Even I know, and I was struggling to figure it out. Even I know. That's not going to do anything. If they told me to replace the cable, sure, I could understand maybe that might be an issue. But reversing, you're not reversing the polarity here. I'm not fucking uncoupling the warp core. All right? It's not.
That's not how this
You're
works.
crossing the stream.
Well,
That's not how any of this
I'm
works.
reversing the polarity, and you're reversing the polarity. So you're reversing the reversing of my polarity.
It's a double reversal. Yeah, double polarity. I repolarized the polarization,
Really?
and that took care of it.
You charge the flux
Really, a
capacitor.
50th anniversary quote. Really.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Kudos to you, man.
Yeah, I caught it too. That's okay. Wasn't gonna let that one ride. Yeah, that's my
That's your little story for the day.
about companies who will not be named Time Warner Cable.
Oh, okay. If we're gonna share those stories, I've got one for you. I used to be on Comcast Internet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on Comcast.
Well, I called their tech support because our internet was dropping like once every 24 hours, around the same time, about 3 o'clock in the morning. So people weren't able to get to the Minecraft server, and people were having problems getting into TeamSpeak, and then so I called them up, and while we were troubleshooting this, I asked them a question. I was like, "Hey, just off the cuff, can you tell me what bandwidth plan that I'm signed up for?" Because, everyone has a bandwidth plan. I have like a maximum cap, a minimum cap, upload and download and all that kind of stuff. Well, I asked them, what plan am I signed up for? What's my bandwidth cap? And the technical support person on the other side said, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that." And it's like, no. I'm not asking like what's the maximum in my area. I'm asking like what's the plan that I'm signed up for, my maximum upload and download speeds. I'm sorry, sir, I can't give you that information, but if you would like, I could Google that for you.
I can't admit to throttling you right now and here, but I could tell you what the service you should be getting is.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody that has access to my plan data could not look at my plan and say, "You're signed up for this particular plan." And they said that they could Google it for me. And I'm like, no, thank you. The very next day, I called and switched providers. Because Tier 1 technical support should never sit there and say, I can't answer you a question about our company unless I Google it for you.
Wow.
Not a good situation.
Yeah.
I'm
So
impressed.
just in
I'm
case you
truly
missed it,
impressed.
I was talking to Comcast technical support.
That is COMCAST.
Aren't you sure the spell?
.com.
No, that's not. That's not how it's spelled. It's SUCKBUTT. That's how you spell Comcast.
.com.
No, I've got that one right now. That's mine.
Wait,
That's
I
Time
thought it
Warner.
was COMCASS.
Oh.
Comcast. But Huawei. Anyways, what's next?
All right, let's see. The next thing that the next thing on the agenda is actually something Woo submitted. Arcade boom of the '90s. Is it over? Are arcades dying? And Woo's looking really confused, like he didn't submit this.
I did not submit that.
Wait a minute, no, was that a Flapjack one?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally prepared for something I didn't actually bring up.
All right, well, apparently this is something from Admiral Flapjack. This is the arcade boom of the '90s. 20 years later, is it over?
Well, I mean, does anyone share my experience of like spending time in arcades at all?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And every
Yes,
single
absolutely.
arcade, shoot, even like 10 years ago, they all shut down.
Yeah.
I used to spend half of my paycheck in an arcade.
It's weird. It's a localization thing. It's here in the U.S. it's dying a lot. It's dying badly. But in other places like Japan, China, like it's flourishing like crazy, like mad. Especially in Asia. I know Europe has a pretty big scene on that too. Like in the United States, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the availability of home-based consumer electronics. It's not as big of a thing. But over in other areas, it's this just crazy. It's crazy town. You can do fucking anything. You can slap on a butt in an arcade machine. I've seen all kinds of weird shit. There was I think the coolest game
The Concho
I think
one.
I saw that. Yeah, I've seen that one. There was one when I was at RTX. There was a game where there was like a dog's butt and you had to like sniff it, and then it also had like a big tennis ball on it. It was weird. And then there was
Are you sure
what's
that was
the other one?
RTX and not some
It was
fetish ball?
RTX. It was at RTX. No, one of the cooler games I saw was a table flipping game, where it's just a table, and then you just flip it as fast and as hard as you can, and then like things go flying, and the further they fly, the more points you get. That's one of the
That
coolest things
sounds
I've ever
awesome.
seen.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's not something that's here. You can't
Yeah.
find it here in America.
Well, here's another thing about that, because I can tell you, the arcades in Japan have a lot of social aspects to them. Like the beetle cards thing with the trading. That's very social. That lets you interact physically with other people who are playing the arcades. Here you have consoles, and unless there's another reason for you to go to the arcade, you'll just stay at home. There's no reason for you to get coins, put on pants, and go to the arcade.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of putting on pants.
To be fair,
me
in
neither.
Japan, you probably don't have to put on pants to go to the arcade.
Well, yeah. No. Actually, no, you don't have to.
I'm moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody in TDS is moving to Japan.
I really
Building the
want to.
TDS compound.
The housing authority.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that the arcade scene has become like its own thing now. Like there are games some games only exist in the arcade. Like you cannot get them any other way. A lot of games have been ported. I think you'll find that a lot of arcade games got ported to the Dreamcast of all things from the 90s. The Sega Dreamcast actually had the most arcade ports out of anything. And
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Something just happened to the stream. Hold on.
yep. You are
Everybody's
outside
dead.
our group.
Oh, why'd you go to that website for?
I clicked on the link because you linked it. I figured it was safe. I didn't realize that it was actually going to
DLC.
close out of everything.
DLC.
How does it look
this
on the
is
stream,
literally
guys?
your fault. It's literally your fault.
How does it look on the stream?
It doesn't. It doesn't. DLC.
Let's see. Turn that
Podcast's
off.
over. I'll see you later. Oh man, I
Game
sabotaged
over,
the
man.
whole
Game
thing.
over.
Game
I
over.
sabotaged the whole thing. I'm so glad.
That is so bad.
So glad I was involved.
I just told you I'm not clicking that. Why
The
would you?
entire stream. Oh god, I killed all of it. Oh,
And then, of course, now the
face.
cameras are now kind of fucked up.
It's like you're literally like
Oh.
hovering. DLC. It's like you're hovering, like your nose is right over.
I didn't do this. This isn't my fault. I want everyone to know. I didn't do it. All I did was put a link. I didn't have anything to do with it.
You're that guy. You're that guy from Home Improvement. The guy who just. Yeah.
What was his name? Wilson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Howdy ho, neighbor Tim.
Everything's gone.
Oh my god, so good. So good. I can't believe you clicked the link. It opened
Yeah.
To be completely
God,
honest, I
man.
thought it was going to
Come-
open up in Internet Explorer because
Come
this
on.
profile is totally jacked up.
Open a new window. What are you doing?
Yep.
All right, there we go. We're back on track, guys.
I can't. Oh my god. I'm so glad. Did you turn everybody's mics back off? Oh god.
Oh, I was supposed to do that?
Yeah, since you closed the page.
I already shut my.
I
Already.
did too.
Everybody else's mics are already shut off.
Alright, good.
The stream froze for me.
Probably something DLC did.
I didn't. Nope. Again, all I did was provide proof of a thing that I said.
Yeah, so the
Not my
stream
fault
had
you
an
clicked on
error
the
due
proof.
to pug sniffing dogs. We
Yeah.
could just make that like a Twitter thing or some
Yeah,
kind of news
I was actually
announcement.
going to bring that up in the very middle of the screen so that people could see what you were talking about. But of course, everything went pear-shaped.
Try it again. Try it again.
No, please don't.
Do it again.
We all-
Do it again.
Yeah, try again. It's fine. We can.
Tell you what, let's move on to the next topic. Or
Sure.
actually, no,
You were
let's
the
get
host.
back on topic. Anybody have anything else about the arcade boom? I mean, do you think it's going to come back? Do you think it's going to be revived?
I mean, if they find a way to bring those social arcades to America, then I think there will be a cult following. I'm not sure that it is going to come back the way it was in the 90s, but there is some form of return.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now that I actually agree with Diver's comment right there, and I agree with something that Flapjack said earlier, where if they bring the social aspect back, and if they bring some of the games from Japan over to America, I've already seen some of the boxing games where you hold the two different gloves and you're bobbing and weaving in place, where you stand toe to toe with a boxer. I've seen a lot of people line up for that. The test your strength game, the punching game, dude, the Concho game that me and DLC were talking
Uh-oh.
about. If they brought that over, people would sit there and go, "Oh man, that is so messed up. I'm like dumping $5 into this game right now."
Yeah, and I mean, there's the interaction games are the ones that always seem to draw the biggest crowd. I mean, there's a lot. I honestly think that I mean, some people will disagree. I know, but I think that the era of the stick and button is probably run its course because that experience can be had on a console.
Yep.
There's no reason to go to the arcade for those kinds of games. You can do that at home now. The kinds of controls that I would go to the arcade for are the ones that you can't get at home. Basically, the ones that involve a specialist controller or a specialist experience. Like Time Crisis is a good example of something that kind of breaks out of the style of console because, in as much as yes, it has a light gun, it's got an action on the controller, and you have the pedal to snap out of cover. And the experience of using that controller is what makes the game more so than the gameplay itself. Because you could, quite honestly, you can play Time Crisis on an emulator or a port, and it will play, the gameplay will be the same, but not the controls.
I'm glad you said something about Time Crisis because I don't know. A lot of the Time Crisis cabinets that I've played aren't actually centered. Like they're not maintained. Like it's 2 inches above where you're actually aiming at.
They don't
Yeah, I've seen
recalibrate it.
most arcade shooters have that issue. Yeah, I think it's just poor maintenance. But yeah, Time Crisis. I used to dump a lot of my coins into completing the second Time Crisis game. I had a lot of fun with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
But,
ever beaten them actually?
I did.
I
I
have.
have beaten Time Crisis 2 several times. I got to the point where I could do it on one solid coin playthrough.
Yep.
But
And
I'm
I mean,
gonna have to say, oh, sorry, go.
go ahead. And there's a lot of other games that have that unique control style or unique experience that you don't, or titles that are arcade only. Um, Star Wars Trilogy for the arcade was a really, really good game, and as far as I know, only existed in the arcade. Wasn't ever ported to any other system. The only way you can get it is in an arcade cabinet. A really, really fun game. Not exactly revolutionary controls, but it's, one of those games that I always came back to, and still only available at an arcade. And I tell you what, if I ever walked by some, just if I ever walked by it, if I ever saw it in the real world and I ever walked by it, I'd be tempted to find a coin machine and drop a few coins in and play a round or two.
Yeah. Have you seen the newest one? The newest Star Wars one called Battle Pod. I linked it in the chat. It
Don't
Careful,
click
is.
it, Taliesin. Don't click it.
Don't click it, Cal.
What? Click the link? All right, let's do this, guys.
It's crazy town. I can't even describe it, but it just looks amazing. I mean, it's full immersion. Like you're sitting in there, the screen is massive. Like it's just beyond cool looking. And they only cost $35,000. So I mean, if you want one,
See, yeah, there's
Some
another
change,
thing
probably.
about not having going to the arcades is you can buy a cabinet for yourself.
Now, I gotta
It's
say,
gonna take a lot of money, but there is that option.
cabinets or not, the one thing that the arcade will always have trumped over the home experience are the simulators, the pods, the things that you actually climb into. For example, I'm going to link something in chat. Have you ever played MechWarrior in a full simulator pod?
Yes.
Yes.
How does that compare to playing MechWarrior at home?
they
No,
have
that's
those.
not even
There's
close.
nothing.
Exactly.
They have those at RTX too. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I've played in some of these pods before, and oh my god, the experience is just insanely so much better. The graphics were absolute crap on the screen, but just to have all those different monitors and the HUDs and the layouts and everything right there, where you actually have to hold on to handlebars to climb into the pod and get into place.
They actually have something where you're at, Woo, in Virginia, where
Oh yeah.
you and 10 friends can go to a building and get into simulator pods and simulate dogfighting like a 5-on-5.
Oh, where is this at?
I'll have to find a link to it, but I'll tell you, I'll show you it
Sounds
once I
good,
find
man.
it.
That would be neat.
Now, I gotta say, only thing that could possibly make the arcade cabinet pods probably just completely extinct, and this is going to be a nice segue into another topic that we're going to talk about, the Oculus Rift. If you had an Oculus Rift at your house, you the HUD, the environment, everything like that would probably just melt away.
Well, I'd like to have an Oculus at my house, Tal, but I'd also like to be able to pay my rent. So, what's gonna happen? I think I can excuse not paying my
Layways.
rent a month in order to get an Oculus Rift.
What if you let your landlord come up and play with the Oculus Rift every now and
He would think that was funny while he was moving all my shit out to the curb. He'd be like, "This is a really cool game. Also, don't forget that box." Nobody wants to touch that box. Well, right. Never mind. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I could keep going with this. I'm not going to.
For those not in the know, we're going to skip forward a little bit to the Oculus Rift. For those that do not know, the Oculus Rift came out with their fine point of sale this week, actually last week. They are now taking pre-orders for the Oculus Rift. It ships with one Xbox One controller and a few different attachments, all the cables and controllers that you'll ever need for it, for the low, low price of $599.99. And that's before shipping and tax. However, I would like to point out that if you get it bundled with an Alienware or standard Dell machine, you can get the Oculus Rift for $399. The only problem is that you have to spend more money to buy a piece of crap machine.
Was it like $1,300 total?
Probably,
something like that.
Yeah, before tax and shipping.
It's just
Dell actually has good value. It's Alienware that doesn't have it right.
Listen,
Alienware is owned by Dell.
I know, but
Alienware
is the overpriced arm of Dell.
Alienware used to be awesome, and then Dell bought them, and now they're just crap.
Here's what I have to say. Okay, so two things. One, apparently this is a much higher build, a much higher quality build than the dev kit, which costs about $300. Understandable. It's a consumer piece now. It's not just for developers. It has to look nice. It has to be nice. But secondly, don't tell us that it's going to cost $350 or in the range of $350, and jack it up twice as much, and leave the door open for other competitors. Because right now HTC has the door wide freaking open. If they can undercut the Oculus, they will put Oculus out of business, and it's going to happen.
Do you think the extra $200 is for the Xbox One controller?
It better damn well not. Let me tell you, I love my Xbox controller. I do. But I don't even want to pay $50 for an Xbox One controller, much less the $150 for the Elite one. If you threw in one of those fancy Chrome Elite ones, I could justify $600. But after that, nah. Not considering the quality of the rig that you have to even use the Oculus Rift, $600 seems like it's too much for what I would consider a fancy peripheral. But again, I don't make as much money as other people, so $600 to them might be like, who cares?
$600 is too much. It's too much.
Says Flapjack, who makes more money than I do. It's too much. So there you go. It's just until it's proven, until it has really run through the tests, everybody's on board with it, until it's gained enough of a following and enough games support it correctly, it's not going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it. I don't know. It's not. It's like buying a Virtual Boy on day one.
Oh, God. Yeah, fair point.
Prove to me that it's going to work and not going to give me migraines, and sure, eventually I'll do it. But that's just...
Did you, though?
Did I? I'm not on day one. Hell no. I played it a lot. I'm not going to lie. I played the Virtual Boy. That's probably why I wear glasses now. If I had to guess.
I have a coworker who still has his Virtual Boy, still works.
Oh God,
Nice.
it gives basically everyone the worst headaches that exist.
It's still so much fun though.
It's
and all three of its games.
If you like red, Virtual Boy is for you. That's
If you're colorblind, you won't be able to tell if it's working or not.
Is it on? yeah, it's on. Can you not hear it? Well,
Here's sound, but I can't see anything.
The controller for Virtual Boy was quite something as well.
that whole thing was a mess. Tripod and everything. Anyways, back to the point. No, $600 it's just too much, and it's they tried to justify it saying, "Oh, we shouldn't have said that. We shouldn't have said that," but it doesn't matter because you did say it. That's the thing. You can't tell consumers we want it to be around this, and then just like 2 weeks beforehand, I think the sorry, I'm getting my microphone.
Yeah, we can't hear you now, DLC.
I know. Hold on.
Wait, are you
All
picking
right.
Was
up
in
your
mouth
microphone?
movement.
My headset's dying. No, 2 weeks in advance they started saying, "Oh, well, it's going to be more than we said. It's going to be more than we said." But in 2 weeks' time, you need to tell us, okay, 350 was a bad idea. We probably shouldn't have said that. So, and maybe this is just initial anger, but not for something I'm gonna play a couple of times until the support is really developed.
Well, not to mention that the Oculus Rift is about 2 years. They've been doing a big CT to us for about 3-4 years. Oculus Rift was about 4 years ago. Oculus Rift was really impressive and really there. And then Facebook bought them, and then we're like, okay, that means we're gonna get it sooner, right? And 2 more years have gone by, and we just keep getting teased with it. And then all of a sudden, the Oculus Rift, it comes out, and it's like, well, that's nice. But then you got the HoloLens over here, which is going out in Q1 of 2016. And you also have all of these other Oculus Rift wannabes and clones that are now hitting the market. So a $600 price tag on something, not enough people are going to be interested in that. The only people that are going to be interested in it are the same ones who bought those little douchebag hoverboards.
God, those are not hoverboards. But the thing about it is, this I guess this is really the difference. So Rift to me doesn't hold a candle to HoloLens. And so if HoloLens is more expensive, I would expect that because the tech that they've shown us so far out of HoloLens is just nuts. Just nuts. If it works in a fraction of how they say it's supposed to work, it's crazy. It's crazy. Exactly. And I'm seeing in the chat, HoloLens isn't VR, it's AR. It's a different technology. And so I would expect it to cost more than $600. But it also seems to me like something I would invest in. VR is not, to me, is not worth that much at this time.
I would like
my
to
opinion,
I would
but-
like to point out one thing though that ultimately continuously pisses me off about the HoloLens. They had to develop a new processor to do the extra calculations for the augmented reality. They came out and it pissed me off because they said they had to make a new holographic processor to deal with this. Like, no, it's not a holographic, it's augmented reality. You don't make a brand new processor. If I make a new chipset and all it does is sit there and calculate things for potato chips, I'm not going to call it a steak processor. I mean, it's two separate things.
That sounds delicious, though. Can we get that in here as soon as possible?
Yeah,
That would
please,
be
right?
delicious.
Mhm. Also, I would like to point out that the HoloLens looks like something I would actually wear more than the Oculus.
Yep.
You're spot on, sir.
The Oculus looks really heavy. That's the big thing. It looks really heavy.
After the
The-
Oculus is released and multiple people have it, we're going to hear multiple complaints of people going, "Oh, I love my Oculus Rift, but my neck hurts."
The
Or no, they'll
Oculus
have a
Ri-
headache for a different reason. This device is crushing my skull.
That's a
The Oculus Rift actually reminds me of that villain from Ace Attorney. Phoenix, right? Ace Attorney?
Oh yeah, yeah. I know
Oh,
what you're talking about.
someone just spoke words that I need to hear. Keep going, Diver. I love the Ace Attorney games. The Ace Attorney games are amazing. By the way, the 3DS, there's a 3DS only Ace Attorney game, is an excellent, excellent game.
I haven't checked it out yet.
Dual Destinies is an excellent game. Highly recommend it.
An excellent.
You know, Flapjack mentioned something a little bit ago about the Virtual Boy. He said that the controller was kind of awesome. Guys, moving on to another, or segueing into another topic, what are some of the best and worst controllers that you have ever seen?
Okay, I'll put this out there right to start with. N64 controller, aesthetically beautiful, practically garbage.
I was gonna mention that.
I was. It depends on the game, actually.
Now, see, when it comes to the 64 controller, that is a hell of a lot more of a comfortable controller compared to the GameCube.
I disagree.
I
GameCube-
disagree
Oh
as
my
well.
God,
I
I
thought the GameCube
disagree,
controller was
though.
awesome.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. In fact, I would put forth that the GameCube might be the best controller out there.
I would still play with the GameCube controller.
Guys,
I would still.
I have to agree with Wu on this. The GameCube controller was really difficult to play if you have big hands.
That's true.
I've got big hands. I've never had a problem.
I'm just saying that it was very difficult for me to actually hold that controller. I was fine with the Xbox controller, the Xbox 360 controller, PlayStation controller, all of those. Yeah, I was perfectly fine with those.
This right here.
Are you taking pictures of your gamer boy Pixit?
Yeah, exactly.
This
Fight
right
the
here.
controller.
This right here is the best controller I've ever used
That
in
does
my
look like
entire
a-
life.
Awesome controller.
This right here is the best controller I've ever used in my entire life. Ergonomically, it fits. It is responsive. It has a hell of a charge time, and I can plug it into my computer, and I don't have any problems. Best controller I've
Yeah,
used.
this right here is my Doctor Who PS4 controller. Love it to bits. It doesn't let me travel in time, though. I wish.
What a shame. Mine does.
Give me a little bit of.
Wait, which one? The Xbox One controller?
Yeah. It lets me travel back in
Oh,
time
right.
to a point when Xbox was relevant.
Right. I was gonna say that.
Master race. Sorry.
I don't know, but to me, the GameCube controller felt more like, instead of actually holding the controller, it felt like I was ready to milk a cow with all the downward slopes to the controls. It was very awkward.
Have a tiny head. Thanks.
Now I would still play. Play Pokemon Snap on my N64 controller. It was perfect for that. I mean, who doesn't want to hold a starship in your hand, right?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the shape it has, I guess.
What about the Dreamcast controller?
The Dreamcast controller was amazing. I mean, it was one of the only controllers that ever had a spot for 2 memory cards. Not to mention the memory cards themselves, you could play mini games on, which was incredible.
Yeah, I definitely thought that the Dreamcast controller was pretty good. What else was out there? Honestly, the NES controller and the SNES controller feel really kind of backwards and clunky compared to the Genesis controller. Like the Genesis controller just fit your hand better.
I liked the Genesis controller a lot. I played the hell out of that thing. Let me tell you.
Who here has used the Power Glove, and how would you rate that as a controller?
The Power Glove
Aesthetically,
is a
it was
glove.
awesome. When it comes to actually using it, it sucked.
The Power Glove was so bad.
It's so bad.
So bad. I want one just to say I have one, but God, is it terrible.
Now, the Power Glove sounds like a fetish thing to me.
If it wasn't before, it is now.
I mean,
thought
that's basically
I thought it
correct.
was a pickup in Zelda, the Power Glove.
Yep.
Never ask
did
Link
like
what he
that.
did with that.
I did like that light gun. I'm not gonna lie, Norm. I like the light gun. You know, you can't use those on TVs nowadays. That's the thing. It only worked on CRTs.
Well, you need
So
you need the photon gun in order for it to work.
yeah,
Oh, did anybody ever have that Super Nintendo like bazooka like controller?
Yes.
I
How
loved
was
that
that?
thing too. It
That
was
thing was awesome when
Really?
you're 7. When you're an adult, it's way too small.
Although you want to know what the Wii peripherals, the Wii Zapper and the pistol controller they were fairly rudimentary, but they weren't half bad. I enjoyed playing Red Steel with the Nyko pistol controller for the Wii remote.
you know, and I'll hop back. You know, everybody talks about your favorite favorite controllers. Again, I cannot express enough how comfortable it is to me. And again, everybody's different, but how comfortable it is to me to play with an Xbox One controller. Seems to me like they took the ergonomic level of the 360 and they wrapped it all together. They took out the big giant hulking back portion because there was this huge battery section that came out like an inch off the back of the 360. So all you could do was hold your fingers like this.
Oh,
Didn't have any
you
room.
mean like that?
Yeah, just like that. It's just, to me, it's the smoothest, most responsive controller I've ever used. And again, it's newest, so that's a thing. But that to me is like the pinnacle of controllers to this point. Now, if you get me something that's even better than that, then sure, I'm on board. But I think we can all agree that the one thing that doesn't work as much as good is touch controls. Touch controls, any kind of controller with a touchpad in it doesn't work as well as it probably ought to.
Okay, so here's the question, guys. What's the worst controller out there? And I'm going to give you 3 of the little three things to choose from. Power Glove, Microsoft Kinect,
Hey, yo.
or wait, the Microsoft Kinect,
That doesn't count.
or that PlayStation thing where you had the little handles with the little light balls on them.
Oh, you mean
Move?
the dildo?
Oh,
PlayStation
the
Move.
ice cream cones?
I don't know what they were
PlayStation
called.
dildos?
I
was
just
pretty
laughed at it
good.
and moved on.
The move was good. It was too obviously an attempt to copy the Wii remote, and unfortunately, it lost by that much. It was
Yo,
a good.
Wii
It was
remote.
a
I
good.
find that uncomfortable.
Yo, the
It was-
Kinect was my jam.
Oh,
I
I'm not
used
saying the
Dance
Kinect is
Central on
bad.
that.
I'm just saying that the lag is absolute crap.
The original Kinect was pretty bad. The original Kinect was pretty bad. The new one for the Xbox One isn't nearly as bad. But at the same time, I quite literally will only use it for 2 functions. That's one, every now and again I need a voice function just because I don't have my hands on my controller. I might be typing on my keyboard or something, so I might need a voice control like do that or the other. Which I'm not going to say any of them because my
When
Kinect
you're
is
watching
live.
something and your hands are too busy.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta have both hands.
Xbox Cinemax.
No, I got heads. But and then the only other thing I'll use it is because I use an external capture card. The only way to get audio from a voice chat on Xbox One is because then it routes the audio through the HDMI port. So the only way I can actually record the audio from people that I'm chatting with is by using a Kinect as my primary. That's it. So unless I wanted to do some incredibly extensive workaround, and it's weird, and I don't know why that's the case, but those are the only 2 things I use it for. Oh, I take it back. I'm sorry. There was a third one. My Xbox, for whatever reason, had an incredibly awful coil whine coming from it when I first got it because it was expecting a Kinect to be plugged into it. So it was just a massive constantly. Once I plugged the Kinect in, that sound went away. That's it.
Interesting.
Kinect's good for. Yeah, it was a weird intergenerational thing with Xbox One. I breaking up?
You are.
Yeah,
I'm
you
breaking
did
up a lot
every
every
other
now
and
word.
Okay, did everybody hear any of
I
that?
heard. Yeah, I heard that. I heard
We hear
Whopper,
most. We hear
fry, and a
most of
large
it. It's
Coke.
just every now and again you you drop every now and again.
Well, does this help if I
No.
get this close to my microphone?
Now you
No.
kind of look like Darth Revan.
Understand what I'm-
No, you're breathing
Oh,
like
you
the
have-
cool Darth guy,
You
not
have
Darth
the black
Revan.
one. DLC.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah, I got the chrome. I got the super sexy chrome one. Ooh. Ooh, child. There we go.
He's got the white one.
Get all up on this business. I like that. I like that white one. It's nice.
DLC pretends he's a 1930s radio talk show host with that chrome back there.
Dateline 1930.
Like she sounded pretty
Shenanigans
convincing.
abound.
As we continue the march to war.
Rapid City Radio.
Our troops
Okay,
are ready
so
for action.
worst controller was
Yeah,
That?
guys,
How about best?
what's your worst controller out of those three options?
Connect.
I would have to vote
Or-
Connect as well.
What were the options again?
Power Glove Connect or PS Move.
You know what? I'll
I never
even
used
toss
the
in a
PS Move,
fourth
so I
one.
can't tell you.
I'll toss in a fourth one, the N64 controller.
N64.
And 64.
Connect.
The
Diver?
N64.
My vote's still on GameCube though.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I will hang an N64 controller on my wall and stare at it and love it.
Yes.
But all that love will evaporate the moment that I have to try and
with or
use
without
it.
the rumble pack.
The reason that you can
PlayStation
hang
Move.
an N64 controller from your wall is because they work great as freaking grappling hooks.
Yes.
I can't say I wouldn't try it, but I might have. I might have
okay.
tried it.
So
Best blunt object controller goes to.
if you're talking about Microsoft Connect, the first one, then I would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Connect was not that great.
Or you could also say iToy. iToy was pretty bad too.
Yeah,
That was about
I
the
can
PlayStation
only
iToy.
remember one game that actually uses the iToy.
I think it was the
That
was it the
Eye of
iToy game?
Judgment.
Oh.
No, it was Eye of Judgment.
Yeah.
It's a card game.
Oh god, I totally even forgot about that thing. I forgot
Yeah.
that existed.
iToy?
I
Yeah.
think a lot of people forgot it existed.
Like Legend of Zelda on Laserdisc. I mean, that's
Oh,
just like
geez.
yeah.
Or the Mario
the Wand
movie.
of Gamelon. That was
With
the
Mario
Philips
movie, yes.
CDI.
I
is
wish
what
I
that
could
was.
forget that thing.
The Mario movie.
Yes.
It's Mario, and Luigi Mario.
Wait, wasn't there a book controller for, I think, PS3 or PS4?
Wait, a book controller?
Not for
Yeah.
I'm
Like
familiar
a
with that.
controller that was a book, like you with the
Yeah.
back and everything. You open it and the hell, you're playing video games. Why would you want to use a book to play video games?
I'll tell you these. So there's a couple. I'm looking at a list now of really bad
Was it a
controllers.
Nintendo thing? Was it Nintendo Power and Knowledge is Power?
No.
The and
Um,
I'd forgotten about this. The Duke controller from the original Xbox was awful.
Oh
was-
yeah, original Xbox controllers. What about
It
that?
was massive.
The original
They call
Xbox
it-
controllers were huge and heavy.
Yeah. The Sega Saturn 3D controller. There's a really bad one too. The Philips CDI.
Okay.
There it is, right there.
It's called the Wonder Book
The Wonder Book.
for the PS3.
I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Everyone, quick! Ignore this podcast. Go Google
The
Wonder Book.
Wonder Book for the PS3.
Wonder Book.
I'm googling it right now.
What is the secret of your gaming?
Oh my god! What?
You're
is
gonna see
this?
everybody
Right?
else on stream just be like, "What?"
What? This a book? What?
The good news is, because of this podcast,
What
the Google
heck?
searches for Wonder Book have gone up 300% just this hour.
Oh my god! Did you guys? Did you? I forgot about this.
Cosplay
PlayStation-
Diver responsible for skewing Google's search results for this hour.
PlayStation made a mouse
What?
that plugged into the original PlayStation. There was
Yeah.
a mouse,
Mhm.
and they used it for like SimCity 2000 and other sim games. Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
A lot of consoles actually have keyboard and mouse input. That was available for Wii as well, believe it or not.
I believe that. Also, there's a Wii bowling ball.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
no, here you go. Here's the worst. This is the worst controller of all time, and I had forgotten about this one until just now. The Sega Activator. The Sega Activator. Don't know what the Sega Activator is.
Wasn't that the vest?
No, this was an octagonal ring that you stood in,
yes.
and it had directions, and you had to punch or kick through those directions, and this thing just did not at all work in any way. None. 0% work. This thing did.
Another controller that I think of that absolutely didn't work at the time was the NES, the track and field trackpad.
The trackpad worked.
That trackpad,
great.
Really?
Yes.
I could never get it to work.
Well, that's because you weren't sitting on the ground right behind it, just punching A and B with your fists.
That's right.
Dude, I was able to get a long jump of over 300 meters that way.
I want your guys' opinion on a mouse. Tals, don't click this link.
Click on the link? Okay.
Don't click the link. Click the link.
I'm gonna click it.
I would not wear that. I
have
use that.
seen that.
Have you seen that?
Oh my god, I had one that was kind of like that.
Now I want to click it.
I had a hand glove mouse. I had one at one point. It was awful.
Now,
It was awful.
guys, we're talking about terrible controllers. Do you guys remember? It was a Sega attachment. It was kind of like the Activator, except it was a vest that you put on, and it basically had a base cannon in the vest. And anytime you got hit in the game, it made it so that you felt like you got hit.
Is this for battle? Is this
that
for
is
laser
the
tag?
Aura Interactor Virtual Reality Gameware. Is
Gesundheit.
what that is.
Now, are you talking recent, or are you talking back in the day, like Sega Genesis kind of era?
When I typed in Sega Vest, that's what I got. Yeah, the Aura Interactor. Here it is, right here. Hold on. This is an eBay link in case anybody wants to buy it and donate it to the stream. We're not in mature mode. We are not. The classic Sega Suicide Vest.
Does that mean we're in immature mode?
Feels punches, explosions, kicks, uppercuts, slam dunks, crashes, body blows, and more. Works with Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Adjust to fit all sizes.
Yes,
except for fat kids. That's my
Which is
only
to
complaint.
say 80% of our audience.
And at least like almost 80% of our podcast. No offense to you guys. I'm included.
So now, this being stated, this was one of the worst ideas ever.
Oh, God.
But now that I state that, Awkwarp was actually telling me about something just the other day about a new type of like vest, kind of like a wetsuit that uses basically it uses like an electro stimuli on the surface of your skin so that you can feel things that happen in virtual reality.
This sounds like a sex toy. This sounds like a sex toy reference. Just
Oh,
the way you say it.
absolutely. It totally. The moment he was telling me about it, I was sitting there going, "Oh,
No,
dude, this is totally going to be a
Manny's
sex
Link.
thing."
Yeah, I actually think I know which one this is. This is what is it called? It's a vest. It's like a third space vest or something like that. Yeah, here's the website I got. tngames.com.
TDS Gaming
This-
TV. What?
Yep,
Huh?
they're right. This one right here.
I'm gonna click the link.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh God, no! What? Okay, well, I'd play that game. Anyways, yeah. Third space. Yeah, it's exactly like you said, like a tactical vest that makes you feel like you've been shot. I've heard people that start having panic attacks and shit while wearing this, though.
Yeah, and it's one of those. Well, no. This is just a
Oh,
vest.
there's a Core FX. The Core FX one is the one that I've seen before. It's crazy.
Yeah, what you linked was just a vest. What I'm talking about is like it looked like a diving wetsuit that you just had the top on it, and you could feel like anything. Their whole thing was that you could feel anything from a gentle breeze running across your arm to a gunshot. And it's like on the preview video and stuff like that, they had where somebody across the room felt a virtual hug from somebody that was wearing VR gear on the other side of the room. And now, granted, I will state this: it will totally be used as a sex thing.
Oh, duh.
I mean, anything where you get sensory input, totally going to be used as a sex thing on the. And you know what? If they can get it to be used as a sex thing, they will make money off of it. And then they will be able to fund their other educational stuff.
That is absolutely absurd. Hang on, let me write down the link here to the thing.
Yeah, the vests are crazy. That makes me think, like, how far away are we from that kind of thing where you're in full immersion mode, you know? When you're walking through and you feel like you're actually stepping on gravel, or you get close to lava and you start feeling the heat from it. You know, how far away are we?
Well, we can go with visual, we can go with audio, and now we can go with tactile. But the whole thing that's going to tie it all together is if you can get the smells. If you can get the smell of like lava.
Does anyone remember the Shaolin style pad for the PlayStation?
No, I did not know that was a thing. But on the topic of the good side of crawlers, apparently with a lot of my viewers that's been watching me play Euro Truck Simulator 2, they're really recommending that steering wheel to me.
Is that
They're saying they're saying that is really, really good.
a controller shaped like the Wu-Tang Clan symbol?
It is.
I want one of
that's
those
awesome.
so bad. Holy shit. That's awesome. I can't even. Oh my god. That's so cool. Why is that even a thing? Hold on. Here it is. Here's a picture of it. That's excellent. I'd buy that. Let me get a Nickelback logo.
Why wasn't that released for like the Def Jam games?
Oh my god. So good. So good. I want one. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, yeah, it's
Not
kinda
gonna lie.
neat.
I kind of want to play with that. Like, I want to use that on my PC. Like, I want to mod it so I could use it as a PC controller. To hell with this Xbox controller. I got a Wu-Tang symbol.
Or if they
Okay.
like curved out the other side of the controller, it almost looked like the Batarang
Mm-hmm.
for like a controller.
Right. Okay, so best controllers for me would be the PS4 right now.
Xbox One for me.
Especially used for the PC for me, but that's personal. I like mapping buttons for PC games to my controller, but it used to be one of my big thing is there is no way to map the mouse. But right now I can use the touchpad for the mouse, and for keyboard buttons I just map them to the PS4 controller.
So,
Nice.
Okay, we're talking about random obscure controllers and everything. Does anyone remember the Final Fantasy X-2 dual pistol controllers?
No, I never heard about that.
These were actual controllers that you could connect to your PlayStation 2 and play the game with.
I see them.
Hold on, I'm gonna link something in the chat real quick so you could see this. This is basically
Oh my god.
what they had. It was just two dual pistols that looked like what was her name? Yuna? Yeah, it's
Yuna,
Yuna, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yuna.
It was Yuna's dual pistols. And whenever she did her limit break or whatever they called it in 10.2, you would basically fire pistols as fast as you could. And whenever it first came out, I really wanted to get these.
Yeah, they do look pretty cool.
I had never heard of this.
Yeah, me neither.
That's crazy.
I would love to get a pair, but I was just I kind of lost interest in the game right off. I don't think I will ever go
Yeah.
back and play the game again.
I can't play Spice World, the video game. No.
Oh, come on. It's all about girl power. And changing clothes.
In concerts.
Mid-battle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally awesome.
Oh boy. Oh no.
I think that was a discussion for another podcast.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Toshi.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead.
on, Toshi.
Let's move on to the next topic because I figure we should probably get back on track.
Yeah, that's a good track.
There should be a
Controller's a good topic.
there should be a derail counter for this podcast, and just how often we have to
Wait, the
Oh,
Spice World
By the
video
way,
game
best
was
controller,
actually very
keyboard, and mouse.
I
interesting.
need some love like I never needed love before. Gonna make love to you, baby. Had a little love. Now I'm back for more. Gonna make love to you, baby. Set your spirit free. It's
That's
the only way to be.
I mean, let's be honest,
Yeah.
guys. How can you
What?
make fun of artists that had such deep lyrics as "I really, really want to zigga zigga ah"?
Hey, the
Right.
rest of
Hey,
that song is
that's-
influential.
Right.
Say something about it again. I dare you. Say something. Do it. Say it to my face.
You're looking at those lyrics at a surface kind of thing. You have to look deeper within.
But what do we
Be-
all really,
Any deeper,
really
and that
want to
mature
zigga-zigga?
that mature flag goes on.
Tell
I
me
mean,
what you want, what you really, really want.
Yeah, what do we all really, really want? What do you really, really want? I wanna wanna
I wanna
What
I will
really,
tell you,
really,
back in the
really
day, I
want
wouldn't
is
mind a zigga zigga ah.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And Flapjack, we
Um,
can't have a derail counter because I am prepared for the derails. I let the derails happen because they're so entertaining and we get so much
Yeah.
good content out of the derails.
It's true. You're
It's
not wrong.
better
I'm surprised
than
I don't
saying
have an
the
actual
word
permanent
sorry
end in
39
forever. I keep
times in
slapping
one
my head.
song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'll be back in a second.
Apparently he zigga zigga a little too hard. Your mic's still on.
I know. That was the point. I don't have my pants. Nobody needed to know that, but I told you all anyway. You're welcome.
You're wearing pants? What's wrong with you?
I am. I know.
Yeah, right?
Who wears pants to a podcast, right?
Who does that?
That's the reason why my camera's not on, guys. Now, okay, so anyway, let's jump on to the next topic. This is something that Admiral Flapjack popped in. It was Google Play versus the Apple Store. You want to take point on that, sir?
So the question isn't one of iOS versus Android. It's one of the difficulty in which it is to publish games on those two platforms. The difficulty of publishing on the Google Play Store versus the difficulty of publishing on the Apple iOS Store, or the App Store rather, and what that causes in terms of the availability in games on those two platforms. Because I think it's really interesting, the games that come to the App Store first and then Android second, but then the proliferation of games on the Android, the Google Play Store, because the platform is more open to developers.
Well, can you tell us a few restrictions on the Google Play? Like, what's the process that people have to go through to submit games?
I have never submitted to Google Play, but you can test. The thing is that for testing, you don't need anything. In fact, you can build the APKs yourself and install them to any Android device without having to go through the Google Play Store. You can just upload it directly to the device. We'll select that you can allow installations from unknown sources and just install it straight on an Android. You don't have to go through the Google Play Store to do your testing and development. Unfortunately, such is not the case with Apple. You need a dev kit in order to do that with Apple.
Now, I know to get a developer's license with Apple, you have to pay $100 a year for your license.
Mm.
And then you have to submit your app to Apple if it meets the criteria where, it's not, there's no mature rated content in it or anything along that lines, and it doesn't, I don't know, there's no copyright infringements or anything along that lines where it's like straight out plagiarism, then they'll go ahead and they'll release it to the general public.
Have you guys heard about Minecraft Pocket Edition 2?
I heard about that. So what happened, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Diver, I heard that it was just a big ripoff. Is that right?
Yes, it literally does nothing.
Yeah, I think I've seen an app here for like a Minecraft printer thing.
Somebody put like a picture of like Minecraft 2. Yeah, it shot way up the charts, but wasn't it? I heard it was something like a side-scrolling platform where you play as Scorpion trying to knock people off of other stuff or something. It had literally nothing to do with Minecraft.
Right, same way that Pokemon Yellow was for the iOS.
Oh, I was like, wait, Pokemon Yellow. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait, you played a
Scorpion
in Pokemon Yellow?
That game. And then I realized what you were talking about.
Anyway, so that shows one aspect of this question. It's gonna be access versus quality control. Because the more open it is, the less restrictions are, the easier it is for people like the people who did Minecraft 2 to get scam apps into the store. Now, I'm not saying it will prevent it outright, because this was an incident on the iOS, the Apple Store. But I can tell you that I've downloaded quite a few more apps on my Android that don't work as well as advertised.
Agreed. The quality control with Google Play Store is much, much less. Now, the other interesting thing is, and this is something that only developers really get to think about, is there is a limited number of devices that you have to cater for when you're developing for the App Store. There's only so many iPads and iPhones out there. There's only a limited number of resolutions and performance restrictions that you have to think about, because Apple controls that stuff very, very tightly. That is not the case with Android. You have to test an ocean of devices if you hope to develop a reliable app for Android, because you need to make sure that it can meet the performance specs of everything from your flagship phones all the way down to your entry-level phones, because they're all Android. And it becomes very difficult to get a game. I'll give you a good example. Hearthstone came out to the App Store first. And that is because Blizzard could not make the Android app work as fast as the Apple one, because the resolutions and everything are all fixed and it's actually, I believe it was an iPad only app. Not only that, but it was on the App Store only, and it was iPad only. It took a very long time to them to get that moved over to the Android Google Play Store, because they had to think about, okay, what devices can run this game, and of those that can run it, how many different resolutions do we have to create for this game in order to get it to work?
Yeah, and I think I remember that being the case too. That Hearthstone started off as a iPad only app. Um, well, and another example of the same kind of thing happening even right now, the Room 3. The Room 3, which the Room is an awesome puzzle series, but they've been having a hell of a time trying to get it to Android because of the limitation, because Android's across so many different devices and so many different configurations. They're having a hell of a time releasing it in such a way that most modern devices will be able to play it correctly. So yeah, that's been their big holdup on that too. Which actually that might be out soon. Let me check.
Isn't that the same argument that PC versus console has too? Like one dimension of it.
That's a rudimentary part of the console versus PC. Yeah, you buy a console so that you aren't bothered of, hey, is this going to install correctly? Is it going to play correctly? Am I going to have to go out and buy an extra component? No, you don't worry about that with the console. But at the same time, which is the Apple approach. But at the same time,
the thing is, it's so controlled that new technology, you have to wait for Sony or Microsoft to actually come out with another console that has new technology in it.
And the thing is that it's very compartmentalized. You can't add a new GPU to your Xbox One because it can't happen. There's no support for that sort of thing. Whereas in a PC, you can absolutely swap out all the different components, and that actually, believe it or not, is completely true of Android. You can install the Android kernel on a lot of devices. I've done it personally. You can install Android on a PC and it will work.
Yeah, that's why you get things like BlueStacks, where they built that whole app that'll actually mimic the entire Android experience.
Well, that leads me to a proposal then. Make a generation of console the entry level and have components up swappable.
That sounds like a Steam machine.
Shut your dirty mouth. You shut your face and all of the mouth parts that are on it.
Or guys, you could have a phone that you could swap out the different components. Kind of like what is it? Phone 2?
The modular phone.
Yeah.
In your bloody machine. The modular phone like Project Aria and whatnot. Was it Aria? Is that the right?
Yes, Project Aria.
Yeah.
ARA.
That's right. That I am on board. Let me tell you how on board I am with that idea. I think it's the coolest possible thing ever that you can say, all right, you know what? I think I would like to use my phone for really high quality pictures, and then just swap out a couple of modules, and now you have an incredibly high quality camera. Or, I'm having trouble with battery life. I need a bigger battery. Swap out a couple of parts. Now you've got a modular, larger battery. I think that's an amazing, amazing idea. Beyond an amazing idea.
It is an amazing idea, but then that completely opens it up for any and every app to just absolutely break and shit itself on that phone. Because if you have like a core processor, have a core amount of RAM, you're either going to be limited to the bare necessity of just to get the phone operational. Yeah, Flapjack's already singing it in his head.
Yeah, but what I was proposing was having this like entry level type of thing where every developer will develop for that, and just have like a high quality option to their game or to their app that lets it utilize if someone wants to like get a better module. But the restriction for the Apple Store or the Google Play Store would be that it should at least run for the entry level or for the core.
So you're saying have a minimum specifications. Like these are the minimum stats that your app has to be built for.
Yes. So this is the stock, basically.
I believe iPhone's already doing that, or Apple itself is already doing that. They decommission their old phones all the time Are you referring to like on the PC versus console kind of thing, or
PC versus console or iOS versus Android. I mean, right now, if you have an iPhone 6, you're stuck with whatever's inside your iPhone 6.
right?
The the thing is, if they make the iPhone 6 the core, and you can improve some components of it, then you can tell your app makers, hey, it at least has to work for an iPhone 6, but you can, if you want to, you can have the option to utilize this better, like mods, if the users have it.
Yeah, that would be a fundamental departure from Apple for like their entire company history to allow an end user to upgrade their own device.
Right?
Right.
Like Apple is 100% proprietary. I mean, oh my God, we just about flipped our stuff whenever we heard that. Oh no, Apple's going to Intel processors, and then everybody freaked out about that.
And then everybody realized how much
the best
better
thing they could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went to a core Linux OS where everything was based off of their
good
Linux.
Idea.
Yeah, I know. And every time they made those fundamental changes, people just flipped their stuff, just sitting there going like, "Whoa, what is Apple doing? This is insanity!" And then everybody loves the change.
Right.
So it's like, I have no doubt that if they did do a fundamental change like this, more people would probably enjoy it.
Could one of their fundamental changes be drop their prices by $1,000 each?
Probably not. They
That'd
are
be
not
pretty good fundamental change.
See, the key term in there is fund. It's like they need the fundage. They're not in it for fun. They're in it for funds.
Fundamental.
I mean, love them or hate them, guys. You gotta respect Apple for coming out and doing something like the smartphones, the iPhones, because the iPhones came out, we now have Androids, we now have all these different touchscreen devices, and we also have the Windows Phone, but we're not going to talk about that. No one talks about that.
You know, the Windows Phone isn't a terrible idea. It's just that nobody's doing anything with it.
Which is one of the things that Windows 10 is hoping to compensate for.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I've always had high hopes. I've always had high hopes for the Windows phones, and they never quite get fulfilled.
Oh, the tiles are freaking awesome. I had them on my Windows 8 machine, on my Surface. And I loved it. It was great. But, yeah, the one thing that killed the Microsoft Store is that no one was developing apps for it because there was no market for it. But now that Windows 10 has come out and the Microsoft Store is on every single PC, I have already noticed more and more decent games being put out on the Windows Store.
Oh, Microsoft is pushing it hard too. If you look at their developer site, they are pushing app development hard.
That's because Windows 10, supposedly, the HoloLens development kit is supposed to be built into the Windows 10 operating system. Or if you develop for Windows 10 operating system, it's supposed to work for the HoloLens as well.
Yeah, the SDK is supposed to be plug and play for HoloLens.
And that is honestly what's going to put Microsoft back on top of the market.
Okay, kind of on topic, but decidedly off topic.
Off the rails!
Indie at Xbox. Anyone remember that?
The what?
The Indie at Xbox campaign that they had when Xbox One first was announced.
Oh, about how they were talking about all the indie games and everything.
Yeah, basically empowering more indie developers.
I do remember that conversation.
Remember that now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything come out of that.
That kind of bottomed out.
There are a lot of indie games on Xbox. I won't lie. There are a bunch, but a lot more came out for the 360 than ever have come out for the Xbox One. I think they're still trying to push for a handful of those. Like, for example, Cuphead, which is supposed to be coming out in the next couple of months, supposed to be, is a one really big indie game that they're trying to push for. But no, I would agree. I would agree in that the level of what they were trying to do and what they were trying to say about creating indie games and supporting indie games hasn't existed. I would agree with that. I can't not touch my eye. If you tell me again about touching my eye, swear to God, I can't not. Hold on. We're going to do this. We're going to do this right now.
No.
Yep, we're going to do it. Yep, we're doing
I'm
it.
not watching.
Are you going to touch your eye?
I'm not going to touch it. No.
Close-up.
Nope, we're going to do this. Here's what we're going to do. This is what's wrong with my eye, okay? Can you see? I'm going to zoom in. Here's me zooming in, okay? Open my eye real big. I'm going to look over here.
Horror.
Oh.
Yeah, you see that? See it?
Yep, this is a
Oh,
bit of an ocular hemorrhage.
Yeah, he got so excited from winning my giveaway yesterday that it just made his eye explode.
And that's why you see me going like this, like trying
I
to
thought
do
you were
something
just
about
winking
it.
at me.
Yep, that's what it has been.
All
whole
the
time.
things.
So for
on the
those
patch.
listening to the podcast later
Oh, my
on,
God.
Diver, as the medical expert here, could you explain what exactly DLC just showed us?
That is an ocular hemorrhage. Basically, one of the veins that pump blood into his eye got too much pressure on it. It could be caused by a few different things, a high blood pressure, or just someone being very excited, and it busts open. It's still under the cornea, but the vein is basically spewing blood to the periphery of his pupils.
Yeah, it's super nice.
And for those who don't understand medical jargon, it looks really creepy.
My eyeball bleeding. That's all you need to know.
Eyeball bleeding!
You're
It
bleeding
means blood pressure
into
check,
your
sir.
eyeballs.
There's some blood in my eyeball.
He had an
I don't like it.
aneurysm in his eye.
You know what it was? I already know what it was because it didn't happen. My eye was fine, and then I rubbed my eyes really hard, and then it wasn't fine anymore.
Should he do anything about it? It's just like a bruise. Just it'll heal in time.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just a pain in my ass. Well, in my eye, I guess.
Yeah.
Pain in my ass eye.
But it's like a weird itchy pressure, so I keep wanting to touch it and release
Stop
the pressure.
touching it.
Eyeball.
About no.
Why don't
Do
you
whatever
just
I
get
want.
eye drops? Why don't you just get eye drops instead of itching your eye? You get eye drops, so that'd be healthier overall.
Because that involves buttoning my pants back up. Listen, these pants go in one direction, okay? If they
One
Like the
Direction.
band?
if they ain't on, they're undone. I mean, that's just the thing. I'm just saying, I can't redo these pants. It's not gonna happen. So
I always say, if One Direction ever breaks up, it's because some of them went the wrong direction.
only one direction here to go. That's out.
Oh, okay. So let's move on, guys. We've got just a little bit more time here. Let's talk about the worst games ever. Now, okay, we can all agree that E.T. is supposedly the worst game ever.
That's
But
not
in-
supposed
Now,
to be.
worst is in most hated or in most poorly done.
Well, we could do two categories here.
Yeah.
But if you have not played the game yourself, cannot use that game. So unless you have played the original E.T. for Atari, shut up.
Okay.
So the
Not
worst
only
game that
not only have
we
I,
have
but I
played.
own it.
Okay.
I own it.
I would like to submit one not for the most hated, but for the most poorly done. And this is one that I have played as much as you can play it because it's really mostly unplayable.
Blackjack,
But
has it not been optimized?
No, not at all. And most of it wasn't even coded.
You're gonna find out about optimization here in a minute.
Yes. Here we
Big
go.
rigs over the road racing.
Big
I'll
rigs,
optimize
yeah.
your game.
Yeah, that is labeled as the worst undeveloped game ever.
The thing is that it was published what company like took this game, played it even once, and is like, yes, that's a finished game.
Are you thinking that they actually played it before they took it?
I'm.
Does anyone remember the guy game?
Which
The
game?
what game?
The guy game.
Like, did you had to guess
Like, I
if it
wanna
was a
be the
dude or
guy
not,
game?
or
Guy game.
It's basically a spring break simulator.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
you actually can't even play it. It's you.
No,
it was-
they pulled it off the shelves because one of the spring breakers was at the time underage.
That's right. That's right.
Wait, I have no recollection of this. What was this?
It was PlayStation 2, Xbox, PC. It was basically almost like watching a Girls Gone Wild video. And you had to play. It was like trivia and stuff too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then one of the girls was underage.
Strip trivia.
Jeez.
No, but the worst game for me would be Kung Fu High Impact for the Microsoft Kinect.
Oh, recent one then.
Nice.
Oh, for the Microsoft Kinect, I could totally see that one going bad. What? Yeah.
Yep, same. That's the exact thing you're gonna do.
How much furniture did you take out when you were playing this game?
Oh wow.
Did you like drop kick a lamp or?
No, just the coffee table
Just the coffee table.
and my leg.
The
That's why it's the worst game for me. It's because it actually brought me to the ER.
God, I've got a couple. This is bad. Superman 64.
Yes. Oh God. Yes. That was
Yes.
such shit.
Owned that game. That was not a good game.
Yeah.
At all.
I guess it was
God,
out on the
it's just-
N64, huh?
Yep.
It was
no,
indeed.
No way.
Commodore
No.
64 was a Commodore 64.
There you
no.
go. Yes.
Shaq Fu is another
Yeah.
one.
Speaking of Kung Fu and the old school games.
I was actually
yeah,
just thinking
Shaq
about
Fu.
this. I was trying to
Yep.
get Hex to play it the one day, and I was like,
Wait, did you say Shaq Fu?
Shaq.
"No, Shaq, like,
Yeah, like
Shaquille
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 O'Neal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that game.
That game was bad.
You guys know that they're making a
Oh.
sequel to it, right?
The game was.
Yeah,
Shaquille O'Neal recently came out and said that he's making a Shaq Fu 2.
Well,
You
it
know
was
what?
part of a Kickstarter. Did that Kickstarter ever succeed?
I'll give it to him. You know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, jeez.
You know, Tyler Canadian made a great game, and I could
Shower with
actually
your
say
dad's-
this: Showering
Shower
with
with
Your
Dad
Dad
Simulator.
Simulator 2015. And I can say that is the worst game ever because I own it thanks
Yeah, you
to
do.
DLC.
You're welcome.
Yeah. DLC got me that for Christmas, and
The best
It's
Christmas gift I think I
hilarious.
could have given.
It's funny. It's the funniest thing ever, though. How can it be bad if it makes you laugh that hard?
That's pretty bad.
it's absolutely terrible.
Oh
I'll
my
tell you
god,
that right now.
reminds me. One of my viewers actually gifted me on Steam Tea Party Simulator 2015.
Oh gosh.
Now, wait a
I've
minute.
seen
Are we
that
talking
game.
about like the Mad Hatter kind of Tea Party, or are we talking about
No,
something where
it's
we need to put the
actual
mature
Tea
flag
Party.
on?
Like,
I've seen that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
What about
It-
Who's Your Daddy?
Now that game. Listen, hold on. Let's talk about Who's Your Daddy. Okay, that game is not as bad. I mean, it's just not developed yet. They're not done with it yet, clearly. But it's in terms of things that are actually bad,
It's
like
sadistic.
like baby sticking a fork into a socket and dying. Like, yeah, that's bad. But the game itself, the mechanic is actually pretty interesting. It's pretty funny.
Or baby eating a bottle of bleach.
It's pretty. It's funny. You gotta take it. You gotta step way back from it and say, okay, this is a video game. This is not a real child. I would never condone this happening to a real child. But when
Yeah.
the real child is actively trying to kill itself, it can be a little funny.
Well, it's kind of like Goat Simulator, where you have to suspend all practical
Yes.
reality.
Exactly. You have to put everything on the back burner and then decide. Like that's all you can do. But yeah, it's God,
How
there's
about-
so many bad games.
How about the Star Trek game that's based on the 2007, 2010?
You know what? That game isn't awful, and I'll explain myself. The game isn't terrible to me. It's not a Star Trek game. It's literally it's a shooter game with a Star Trek skin on it. There's not it doesn't feel like, I mean, we could make comparisons to better Star Trek shooter games like Elite Force. Which again is a great game. The second one's not as good as the first one, which is why I never finished it on stream. And also because I was pissed off and I didn't feel like playing it anymore, and because the rest of the story sucks. But whatever. The new one, it in terms of optimization, it's garbage. But it doesn't play terribly. It's just it's not a Star Trek game. It's not a Star Trek game.
Right.
Yeah. It's like taking what's that game? What is that? Day of Two? What is it? Army of Two? Is that what it is?
Army of Two?
Yeah, it's almost like taking Army of Two and saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, here's some Star Trek skins." Like, it's just two people and then taking on a world. I don't know. The whole thing.
Army of Two was really good, actually, for me.
I enjoyed it.
That wasn't a bad game. Not a bad game. Again, the Star Trek game's not awful. It's not awful. It's just it's not a Star Trek game. Not.
Right.
Oh god, I'm trying to think of another really bad game. I don't know. What about you guys?
I remember Home Alone for the NES was absolutely horrible.
That game is crap, dude.
Yes.
That game was so bad.
Controls were so unresponsive in that game.
Oh my god. No, and I'll give you another one from roundabout that kind of era. I didn't like the second Zelda game.
Zelda 2, Adventure
Zelda
Link.
2, yeah, because it was such a departure from the original.
Yeah,
It
In
is.
a way,
I can see that.
It is the black. It is the odd child. I was about to say the black swan.
Actually, that would probably be the CDI version of Link.
We can't talk
Frickin'
about that one.
Laserdisc.
I've never
Yeah,
played
that
the
one.
Philips CDI, the Wand of Gamelon. I've never played it. I've seen enough of it to tell you that is probably the worst game of all time. But by far, by like just leaps and bounds how bad that game is. But I've never played it, so we can't qualify it.
Yeah.
I would love to, though. If anybody can find a way to get me a copy of that game, I will play.
Wait, what
figure
game?
out how to play it on stream. The Philips CDI Zelda game. That's Zelda, the Legend of Zelda: The Wand of Gamelon. What it's called. It's not even.
I can
like
get you that game.
I'm sure you could. I believe it. I don't have a CDI though, so I'd have to find a way.
You have a Laserdisc player?
I'd have to find a way to play it on PC.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
emulators out there.
Oh, I'm positive the game exists.
Emulators are the death of the arcades, by the way.
But just it's so just
Believe it or
not
not,
right.
not all games can be emulated. It's still not a perfect science.
Right.
Just true.
It's just this. Oh god. It's
Oh,
you know.
wait. This game, I just looked it up. The Wand of Gamelon.
Mhm.
I've actually seen someone stream this game.
I believe it. This is all because Nintendo and Sony couldn't get along. That's all that is. That's the only reason this game exists is because Nintendo and Sony could not get along. That's what happened. The whole because I don't know how many people know the history, but and this is off the top of my head, so it might not be 100% correct. But if I remember correctly, what had happened was Sony and Nintendo were supposed to basically get together, and they had created what they were gonna basically call the Nintendo PlayStation. I mean, it was basically a mixture between the two of them. And Sony and Nintendo got in a fight, and they didn't like it, so they split. And then Nintendo said, all right, well, we're still going to do the disc thing because it's probably a smart move since Sony's probably going to go in that direction too. So they went to Philips That didn't work out there either, but they said, all right, Phillips, you guys can have the rights to Legend of Zelda for these games. And that's what happened. They made the worst Zelda games to exist.
So that's why...
Two of them, as a matter of fact.
You just made me think of something. The Wii Station 2 sounds like a glorified toilet.
Ah.
The Wii Station.
The Wii Station.
Yeah.
I have weed.
Ooh, you
It's
were
Wii
saying?
Station. You go number 2.
I was about to say with that Sony and Nintendo departure, that's probably why Final Fantasy 64 never happened and Final Fantasy 7 happened on the PlayStation.
That's exactly why.
Yep.
That's 100% correct.
Final
That's
Fantasy
exactly
64 was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
I thought it was 7 because I remember some of the images in Nintendo Power. It looked like Cloud was one of the characters in that.
Also, did anybody ever play Crystal Chronicles? That was a fun game.
That game kind of
GameCube?
sucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles was awesome. Game did not suck. Game was cool.
I totally hated that game.
Oh, speaking of Final Fantasy games,
Well, that game totally hated you
games
too.
that suck.
I believe
X2.
it.
You could use Game Boy Advances as separate screens.
Yeah, as its own controller. Now that was the only cool thing about the GameCube itself. But you want to know where they got that from?
Man. Effing GameCube, I'm telling you.
They got that from the
GameCube's what's
freaking Dreamcast.
up. GameCube. What up? GameCube.
Oh, does everybody remember the Pocket Station?
Now that just sounds dirty.
I do remember the Pocket Station.
Oh my god, I used to have the Chocobo game on that.
Oh my god, that thing, and that again also was another ripoff of the damn the Dreamcast. It was another thing.
That's what made me think of it.
It was so weird. It was so weird.
Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream with one last thing.
All right.
And I want an answer from each and every one of you.
Yeah, Flapjack, don't sit there quietly.
Way to call him out, Dick.
Whatever. He would call me out too.
All right.
Done it before. I did it yesterday.
Sure.
What is a video game that you would like to see a remake of with today's technology?
Somebody else go first.
Well, since those that see me play Skyrim know how much of a pervert I am, the pervert in me wants to see Rumble Rose's return.
A Rumble Roses game would be probably pretty legit.
Bring it back, damn it, Capcom.
I'd play some Rumble Roses.
Yeah.
Being someone who was raised on JRPGs, I would say for me, a Breath of Fire remake.
Oh,
that would
nice.
be
Breath of Fire 3.
Oh, and legit answer on this, not joking aside. Oh, well, I wasn't really joking in the first place, but I would like to see Chrono Trigger remade.
Yeah.
Yep.
One game that I would like to see remade, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yes!
Oh, yes!
That game was awesome.
With updated graphics, I mean, it's just, I would just love to see that game remade, and the controls tweaked a little bit on it, because, that N64 controller just sucked so much ass.
Right?
Yep.
This is a more difficult question for me because the games that I really loved and I want remade actually are all being remade already. Kingdom Hearts got remade. The classic Zeldas got remade. They're actually in the process of remaking Twilight Princess. That's actually out in a couple months.
Nice.
I would say that the only one that I also want remade because it's an excellent entry in the series and it'll probably happen eventually is Skyward Sword.
Well, now Skyward Sword came out for the Wii.
Wii. Yep. So the only remake.
So it's still gonna be.
Don't they have to wait
be
2 more
machine.
generations to remake something?
Twilight Princess was Wii as well, though.
Oh, I would love to see Contra remade.
Well, I should say it's a GameCube title. but it was
Wait.
the Wii generation.
So in line with Conker's Bad Fur Day, I would like to see Banjo-Kazooie remade, just so that I can see Wu stream the fight against Lord Wu Fat Fuck.
You know what I would like to see? I got a couple. I have a couple. This is. What was that? I'm sorry. Try that again. Come
What?
back. Who is that? Who is that? Went.
Oh, sorry. I was clearing my throat.
Good comeback. Ark the Lad. You may ever play Ark the Lad?
Yeah.
No, I've heard of it. Yeah.
That was a very good one. I fell in love with that game. That series. Legends of Dragoon was also a very cool series.
Yes.
For the PlayStation, yes.
Yep. For
I
the
never
PlayStation.
got
Legends of Legaia.
DLC.
So I loved Legends of Legaia too.
What about
Yes, that was a good one.
What about Comic Zone?
Oh, listen, I would
God.
play the shit out of some Comic Zone, especially if they updated like the comics to like today's quality comics.
Wait,
I would
what
play
is
the hell out of
Zone?
Comic Zone. Oh, it was an awesome
Comic
Sega
Zone
Genesis
was
game.
a great game, but it was at the same time an awful game.
Yeah, it was such a difficult game too.
It was very punishing.
Think Final Fight, but inside like comic pages.
Where sometimes you actually punched your way through a comic panel to proceed to the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
you had to do that quite a
the
lot.
difficulty was high.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
difficulty
game
was
not
high.
I couldn't get past first level.
Sounds like something From Software would remake.
What about
makers of
what
Bloodborne
about
and
other
Dark
Genesis
Souls.
good Genesis titles like Kid Chameleon,
I would play that. I would play some
There
Vector
you go.
Man.
Vector
Man would be a
Man
good
2?
one.
Yeah.
Vector Man was great.
How about Pepsi Man?
Oh God, Pepsi Man.
Okay, here you guys go.
Excellent
And
game,
I'm
though.
sure I'm going to get a F yeah from one of you guys. Commander Keen.
Heck yeah!
Oh, hell yeah.
I played all 6 of those games.
No, I'm just talking about the original Commander Keen. Bring it back for a new
Well, I
generation.
mean, yeah, but they were all fun in their own right. Commander Keen was the original one. It spawned a whole load of spin-offs that mimic that style.
I would be super happy with some of the Star Trek games remade. Like Star Trek, like Starfleet Commander, things like that. Bridge Commander. I'd like to see another Bridge Commander. I'd like to
Captain's
see
Chair,
Captain's Chair with more up to date
Starship
like actual
Creator
things.
Deluxe.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to see these kinds of things.
Captain's Chair, now with seatbelt.
That was in a deleted scene from Nemesis, and we don't talk about it.
I do have to agree with Burn to Tears. Crash Bandicoot. Yes, I would like to see a remake of that. Bring back PlayStation's mascot.
Yeah, Manny's got a good point. The Ultima series, like Ultima Online, I would really like to actually kind of really want to play some Ultima Online right now.
Can we just end the stream right now so he can go play some Ultima Online?
I gotta go download a free server for Ultima Online. I gotta go. But you know, there's a lot out there. A lot of the really cool games that I think could really benefit from some real love and attention that I think would really bring people back into their world. Like I would like to see like some of these Star Trek games, if Star Trek's coming back to TV this year, as a matter of fact, or I'm sorry, it's next year. If it's coming back to TV, then make me a game. Get me a game. You know, let's do it.
No.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and say,
like
make me a game. Because it's going to suck.
An
I
open
demand a
world,
game.
Star Trek, please.
Yeah, if you could
But
just
instead of making it open world, make it open galaxy.
that would be pretty legit.
I would like
I'd
to see a new
something
Jedi
Mass Effect
Academy.
level. That
Oh
would
my
be
gosh.
good.
That would be good.
I tell you what I would like. I would like them if they redid KOTOR 1 and 2 with the better technology. Not redo. I'm not saying like legitimately just complete, redo, start over, the whole story wiped. But I mean, take that actual game
Well, it is
and
Disney.
just make it function better. It's the
Make
biggest
it not
thing.
make it not suck.
Yeah, well, make it a little bit more approachable, make it a bit more manageable. Up the graphics, bring the graphics to today's level. That would be cool. I'd be very cool with that.
And what about Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer?
You shut your
Pod
mouth.
Racer. Oh my
Pod
God.
Racer was a good game.
That
Oh,
was a
It's just
really good
based on
game.
a crappy movie.
Do you want me to go get my PC copy, which is sitting right over there?
I liked Pod Racer. I liked Pod Racer a lot. Thank you
Pod
very
Racer
much.
was great. I actually played that with my Sidewinder joystick back in the day when I actually had a serial port on the back of my PC.
It was null modem.
Nice.
It was null modem, and by default, if you didn't use null modem, the network protocol you had to use was IPX SPX.
Yep.
Because TCP/IP was not as well established back then.
Ooh, Maniac
Nerd.
Mansion. Since Manny mentioned Day of the Tentacle, I would like to see a Maniac Mansion remake.
Maniac Mansion was a great game back in the day.
Yep. Even had Michael Jackson.
What about the
Oh,
learning?
uh-oh.
What about
What happened to
what about
Dominic?
the Super Solvers games, Talson?
The Super Solvers game?
All of them, all those games.
They were okay. I don't want to see them remade though, because I don't want to have to support those.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You can just enjoy them. Man, I would. Gizmos and Gadgets is still to this day one of my very favorite games because it promoted thinking of engineering.
The Incredible Machine.
Oh,
I would love to see an
that's
update
happened.
of the Incredible Machine.
Contraption Maker. It is the Incredible Machine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that, but I want the name brand, you know?
I
It's
don't
kind of
want
like
the generic-
I'm drinking
I don't
Dr.
want the
Pepper.
generic,
I don't want to
want the
drink Mr.
Walmart.
Pibb.
I don't need your great value video games, okay?
I don't need to
don't
drink
want-
Dr. Thunder. I want Dr. Pepper.
Shut up about Dr. Thunder, all right? And listen here, Mountain Lightning is the best of all of the mountain beverages.
Yeah, DLC. I agree with you completely. The old Knights of the Old Republic are great as long as they keep HK-47.
I would agree.
Because something about running around with somebody calling you a meat sack, it just made me giggle. And you know, he's sitting there like, let's just kill them all. Kind of an insubordinate meat sack, huh? No.
Insubordinate. I will not do what you ask, meat sack.
I was thinking of a game that I would like remade, but I couldn't remember the name, and I did. I did find it. It's called Trap Gunner for the PlayStation. It was a really obscure game. No one I know recognizes it, but it was a really good couch multiplayer game. Basically, you're running around. It's a top-down shooter, but more than that, you're laying traps. You have a loadout of traps that you can put against your enemy.
Oh yeah. I remember this game. I'm watching a little bit of footage of it. I remember this.
Diver, you gave me a great idea. I would love to see a remake of Spy vs. Spy.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Yes.
You know
It
what I
doesn't
wanna
even have
see?
to be updated graphics. It just has to come out with like more rooms and more buildings.
I want to see a really high quality Star Wars Force Awakens video game. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I'd like to see any sort of licensed film game not suck.
Not made by EA. Oh, well, yeah.
That would be the greatest. If
Wait,
you could just make a
wait.
licensed film game that
What about
didn't
Aladdin?
suck.
Star Wars
Okay,
Desktop
wait.
Adventures.
I mean now. Star Wars Desktop Adventures was good. There's not a point to it at all, but it's a good game. It's fun and you can have a good time with it. Diver is
I
now
think we lost
Diver
Diver
wrecked.
again.
Pink Diamonds again. Diver, please,
Okay, you know
Pink
what?
Diamonds.
Holy diver. There we go. He's back.
I should really put this Roll20 screen on a different window. Because
Are you having a
I
Talcin
keep
moment?
searching Google on.
Oh man.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap up the stream. We ran a little bit over today, but that's because we were just having fun. So
And also,
anybody that
we
has a
didn't
problem
start
with it
until
can
half
just
an hour late.
suck it.
So
No. We've been going for, what is it, 2 hours, 20 minutes now.
oh well, we also started a half an hour late.
Ooh, River City Ransom.
Ooh, nice. Yes.
I would love to see
love
that
the
remake.
heck out
Are
of
we,
River City Ransom.
This is an important question. How many people are in here? Is there going to be a raid? Let's
I,
raid.
I believe that we are going to be raiding.
Let's do it, please. Let's do it.
I think that we are going to be raiding Obizonka.
Really?
Nice.
Oh.
Good
Really?
choice. So let's see. Let's get this up and running. Actually, Norv, if you're still in the channel, could you go ahead and type in a link to Obizonka's?
I like mine better.
How's this one, guys?
See mine? Do you see mine? Mine's the best.
Pick one. Doesn't matter. Just pick one.
DLC.
Okay. In fact, pick a random one of all the ones that we have linked. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Obizonka's page. And whenever you hear, let's see, what's going to be the call sign, guys?
Go, 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 go.
Okay. So whenever you see TDS Gaming TV say go, 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 just spam this in her chat as much as you can before you get timed out.
Right?
So,
all right, I'm ready. Let's
ladies
do it.
and gentlemen, I would like to thank everybody that showed up today. Mr. Wu Plays, Admiral
sir.
Flapjack, Mr. CosplayDiver, the one, the only, the Notorious DLC.
Bang, bang. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh god, we're gonna crash now.
Tals?
And as always, I am your moderator, Talsincom, and we hope to see you next week whenever we do this again. So go over to Obizonka's webpage, and we will be rating her in just a moment.
Thanks, Taslin.
Yeah, you don't want to instruct me to spam until